Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Tokyo Tropic Turtles Draft to Glory franchise mode here in MLB The Show 24. So in last episode, we did some scouting, and this year's draft class really isn't looking the best, so I'm a little concerned about the upcoming draft class. However, we do have the first overall pick, so I'm hoping at least we could get somebody respectable that will live up to that first overall name, maybe somebody that could outgrow that potential. But right now, it does not look like a good draft class, and I'm hoping that we still could draft some pretty good players, at least to start building up our prospect pool more so, because right now, I would say we're doing a pretty good job in terms of building up like our pitching rotation. If we look at like our pitching rotation right now in the MLB, we have Parker Iwamura. We also have a bunch of guys in terms of relievers, and then if we go to in the system, we have guys still in like AA, we have guys in AAA, so I think pitching-wise, we're doing well. But in terms of actually like batting and all that, I don't think we're drafting the best. We are drafting some solid players, but we haven't still found that one stud player yet like we have with pitching with like Iwamura and whatnot. So I'm really hoping that some of these guys start developing a little quicker, and hopefully also we start finding some better players in future drafts, because obviously right now it's a little bit of a tough time. We've only won 4 games up to this point in the season. Last year we only won 8 games, so I don't know if we're going to win more games than last year, but I hope that we honestly find ways to win a bit more games over these next few years and stuff like that. And hopefully, like I said, these upcoming draft classes have some more good prospects in it to basically help us with our batting, because I know that we're eventually going to be able to win games because of our pitching, but our batting is probably going to be a little bit of a mixed bag probably once we actually start to win more than 10 plus games. So will be a very exciting once we get to that point in time. But anyways, let's get into your guys' comments now and see what you guys have to say about last episode, and then we will get to the year 7 draft. So the first 3 comments are for Dylan Burrows. The first one says, Ken Irabu at 1. Where did the guy go that had 79 potential and 70-79 overall go? I'd say him at 2nd if he's there. Lim and Ishii and JWN. So basically, the guy that you were mentioning that basically was a 79 or 70 to 79 potential, for some reason, Jason Irabu, this closer, is not supposed to get drafted still. Like, he's still rated as NR despite being a 70 plus overall player, which is kind of annoying. So if he's not in this year's draft class again, I don't know if he has to test free agency or he'll be in next year's draft, but he should be eventually draftable. But he looks pretty damn solid. I really want this guy, but for some reason he just never shows up in the draft class. So I'm hoping that he shows up this year. If he doesn't, once again, we might have to try and draft him again next year, but he's got high interest. He's also got a very good overall, and I think he could definitely outgrow that potential. He's also a kind of a player we need too, because we only have one closer at the moment, so it would be nice to get ourselves a backup one as well. But if he's not in this year's draft class, obviously that's going to suck quite a bit, because I would easily take him with one of my top picks. I'd say not my first round pick, but obviously I'd probably take him in the 2nd round for sure if he was available. Dylan also says, also I'd put Jung back in AAA not to stunt his growth, so I went ahead and did that. So Jung has been sent down to AAA. If we go to pitching rotation, as you guys can see here, he is now the ace down there. Stan Nguyen number 2, David Nall number 3, Robert Matsui at 4, and Vincent Tan at 5. So Jung was playing pretty terribly in the MLB. He had literally 17 games started in only 3 quality starts, and obviously his ERA and WHIP was really high. So I was just like, it's probably best for him to get sent down. His FIP wasn't terrible, but the other stats were, so hopefully he could kind of reset a little bit, and hopefully next year he could come back to the MLB and do much better for us. So yeah, hopefully Walter Jung can do a bit better in AAA and kind of regain his confidence a little bit more. And finally, Dylan says, also I'd say move Yang and Yabu up in the lineup to get on for the team. And I went and basically readjust both AA and AAA in their lineups based on batting average. So the highest batting average player right now is Theodore Lee in AAA, so he's now number 1. You go to AA, Russell Yang's number 1, Yabu's number 2. And it just basically goes on batting average. So hopefully some of those guys continue to do well and also get better numbers. And hopefully the guys that were struggling a little bit can improve a little bit in the second half of the season, because that would be very, very nice. The next comment is from Ryan the Sharky, who says, you should probably call up Cho to improve your MLB bullpen since he's already 27. And I went ahead and did that as well. So Walter Cho was added to the 40-man roster. He had actually been playing pretty good in AAA. I can't take a look at his stats, unfortunately, but he's been a pretty good like relief pitcher / setup guy / closer in AAA and AA. So he's given an opportunity here because he's already 27 years old. So it's like he's kind of at that make or break point. And if he didn't play in the MLB yet, he would probably not make the MLB till he's like 30 something years old. So it's like, might as well give him an opportunity while he's still relatively young, and see if he could actually produce well as a reliever, which I think he should be able to. He's got good hits per nine, Ks per nine. His walks per nine, not the best, but home runs per nine is pretty good too. So I think he definitely could help us out in terms of the pitching a little bit from the bullpen. And the last two and final comments are from Nick Barons OC. The first one says, I would sit Jung down for the rest of the year, which is basically what we just did, because also Dylan said that. And Nick also says, if Sato wins Rookie of the Year, he gets another +5. If not, we'll look at his stats and see. And yeah, Sato's been very good so far. I'm hoping that obviously he wins Rookie of the Year. But honestly, who knows if he will. If we go over to Kevin Sato, you can see he's got a 293 average. He's got no home runs up to this point, but 16 RBIs. He's been pretty damn solid up to this point. He's also got a 731 OPS, which is nice. So in general, he's been one of our best players on the roster in terms of batting. So I'm hoping that he can maybe be a Rookie of the Year, but I don't know if he will, because obviously he doesn't have the home runs, but he does have the average. The RBI is a little bit low as well, because obviously not a lot of the major league guys are going to get on base, that type of thing. But that's that. I think we're ready to do some more scouting for another week or two, and then get into the Year 7 draft. I did basically put Kenny Rabu as the first guy to get scouted, because he's likely going to be our first selection at first overall, even though we don't know for sure he's going to be super good. But I wanted to get his interest higher, so that's why I have him as the first guy. Jungwoo Ahn's going to get scouted out a little bit more, because we don't understand how good he is at the moment. And I'm just going to keep this guy's scouting out, finding some new prospects for the last of this few weeks of scouting. So everything's good. Let's simulate a week and see if our team can win some more games, and if we could find out some interesting stuff about Jungwoo Ahn, because that's one guy we've never scouted yet so far at this point. William Chung is eligible to be reinstated. That's good, because he's obviously our top closer prospect, because we don't have any other closer prospects, and that's why I want that one guy. So let's go back down to AAA here and make sure he's in the right spot, which he is. He's been playing great down there, so there's a chance he actually might be in the major league soon, because he's up to a 72 already, which is a great sign. Let's go through these last few games. Raymond Park has been injured with a torn pectoral. That's not great, sort of torn pec, and he'll be out for 2 to 3 months. Well, that's not great, but obviously he doesn't have much potential. Kevin Sato also gets knee inflammation, which is not great, considering he's up there potentially for one of our best players this season. All right, let me just double check on the lineups. They should be all good. They're ready to go, right? Oh yeah, AA needs another person in the lineup with that injury, so we'll just throw Munoz in, since he actually can play first base. I want Munoz in here, please. Thank you, game. So put Munoz in both spots. There you go. That's all good and ready to go. Okay, so what did we find out during that week? So Kenny Rabu's interest went up to 30%, which is good. He's looking like he should be decent enough. Like, he's definitely going to be our first selection, I think. Jungwoo Ahn is looking kind of mid, just like everybody else in this draft, so he might just be a prospect that we take for depth purposes, but right now not looking the best. Let's go for the last week as well. Actually, let me take a look and see if there's anybody discovered that week as well that we didn't scout out at all yet. Jose Ramirez, Roberto Colon, Shannon Hawk from Germany, and Francisco Davila. Of course, all these guys are from like Venezuela and stuff like that. Like, it seems like Asian countries are very tough to find players from, but it is what it is. Final week assimilating before the draft. Hopefully most of the guys we want are still in the draft class, because that would be nice. So Sato's back in his normal spot, still batting at 290 average, which is really great to see. Hopefully he continues that, because it would be nice for him to have like a 290 average for his first season. No on that, and we should be good on that. Let's get to the 2030 draft and add some prospects to our list. So, oh, now this is everybody I scouted out, right? No, this is just some players I scouted out. Okay, let's go individually and add some players to our list. We know we have the first overall selection, and we pretty much know what we're drafting with the first overall selection, but hopefully nobody disappears from this draft class, because that would be kind of annoying. Yeah, Kenny Rabu is likely going to be the first overall pick this year, which at least gives us more pitcher help, but I mean, I need batters. I need batters. That's like the next important thing. Let's see how much of these guys disappeared. Please, nobody. Hopefully that one guy that was late in the first round, that closer, is still there. Because if he disappeared again, we're going to have to wait till next year, and eventually he might have to just be like a free agent signing or something like that. Where is the next guy? So far, we only have one guy, which is not great. There's the next best, which is David Lim. My God. Yeah, this is going to be one of the worst draft classes in terms of the amount of prospects. Like, if we have to take people that aren't Asian, we will have to not sign them, just like we did a few years ago. But at least there's 3 people so far. We should be able to draft everybody we want, just based on the fact that there's a strong lack of Asian talent. But yeah, these type of draft classes are definitely going to make it tough in the series to actually start winning. But it is what it is. Wow, so there was only 4 guys in this entire draft, so that closer did disappear, I guess. Yeah, that closer did disappear. Let me just double check on that, because he was kind of interesting. Yeah, he did. That's retarded, man. That's retarded. Speaking. Why? He was like a 70+ overall, and there's literally only 4 guys I could draft this year, which means 2 of our selections at least are gonna have to are probably gonna have to get cut and not signed. I mean, they could get signed and then lowered, but damn, man, this is gonna be really tough. Because we're gonna take Lim for Irabu first overall. Lim is gonna be probably our 2nd round pick, and would have to be our one of our competitive round balance picks. One of these guys. Is she? Yeah, we're gonna have a really tough time, but it is what it is. Let's get into this draft and take Irabu first overall. Man, I wish that closer was still available though, because how am I supposed to do anything with 4 guys? Like, let me just double check and make sure I did not miss anybody. I don't think I did. I'm just gonna double check a little bit here. Because, like, these guys are all Americans. They're not just white guys. Or they're just white guys. I don't even know what I'm trying to say, man. Yeah, this draft class is probably the worst one we've seen so far. So next year, got to be a generational Japanese guy. And watch, we're not going to have first overall because the game just, for some reason, hates us. Yeah, that's all we're going to be able to draft is these 4 dudes. All right. Well, let's get into the draft and take Mr. Irabu first overall. Welcome aboard to Ken Irabu. Hopefully he's actually decent, because if he's not, that's going to be not great. So there is Ken. He's got some great facial hair. He was projected by the MLB to be a late 1st round pick. Our scouts had him as a 2nd round pick, but we have to take him first overall. His bonus demand is super high too, so that's not great. We also have to get that interest super high too on him. Omar Vargas is going to be the 2nd overall selection, going to the White Sox just after our selection. Okay. So another starting pitcher. Number 3 is going to be Gerald Fordyce, which our scouts don't really know much about, but he was projected to be a top 10 pick, maybe. All right. So there is your top 3. A center fielder going 3rd. That's interesting. Okay. I almost don't care about the rest of this 1st round. Let's sim to our next pick, because we're not going to make a lot of selections anyways. Let's just see what went before us. Anyways, I'll just probably take my face off the screen and you guys could see. You can pause at this point and see if there's anybody that you want to bring up later on or something like that. But our next selection is going to have to be Mr. Lim here, which is okay. He's a decent reliever, but yeah, this is kind of not a spot I would normally take him in. But David Lim, welcome aboard as well. So there is Mr. Lim. Nice little beard for him. Hopefully he's a 79 potential, because, yeah, that would be nice-ish. Our next pick is going to be Tom Ann with the competitive round balance pick. He's another reliever. So there's Tom Ann, also great beard. Apparently he's currently injured, which is not great, but oh well. And our last selection is going to be Jeff Ishii, and then we're going to have to just take guys that we don't want and not sign them. So Jeff Ishii, welcome aboard. And I'm going to have to like auto sim for the rest of this. So sim the rest of the draft. That was unfortunate. At least we got everybody we wanted, but we're not going to be able to sign Humphrey, Gonzalez, or Chavez. Just because of the fact that there was a lack of Asian talent in this draft class. I wish I would have been able to take that closer. That would have been nice, but unfortunately no, so This episode might be pretty short just because that draft literally went by quick. We'll skip over to the home run derby, but I want to see who our all-star representative was this season. Was it Parker Iwamura? Probably not, but you never know. Let's see. Let's go auto on that. That's okay. Let's see who is in the all-star game. See who is representing the Tropic Turtles. Nobody in terms of pitching, which is kind of surprising. Okay. Batting wise, it's going to be... Do I even see anybody here? Or am I actually on the NL side? I think I'm on the AL, though. I gotta just double check that I'm not missing anybody, because there has to be one representative, right? At least I'm pretty sure on that. Am I just completely blind, or is there nobody? Let me just scroll through this just to see, because I honestly don't recognize any names, so it must be one of those... Oh, there he is. Yeah, it's this 13 overall Doug Knowles. I don't even know how I passed him, but he is our all-star representative, which is kind of weird. He's batting a 167. You think they would get somebody else in there instead, like Sato or something, but no. All right. So there is our all-star representative, so it doesn't really matter too much. Let's go through this game. And soon enough, we should be able to start signing our draft prospects. There you go. All right, so we need Irabu to get his interest way up there, so he needs to stay at that first spot for now. Humphrey, Gonzalez, and Chavez, I can't sign any of them. I need Lim's interest to get up there too. And we'll try and re-sign Mr. Tom Ann, which he already accepts, which is great. That's very helpful. And we also have Jeff Ishii we could sign already as well, which we'll sign him too. Perfect. So just got to get those guys' interest up there, which is going to be tough on Irabu, but we need to get that interest higher, because if he doesn't sign with us after this draft class, that might be pretty bad. Got to wait a little bit longer on these guys. One more day. We're still losing a bunch of games. I'm surprised we're not doing better than last year, but oh well. Still can't offer contracts. Soon we should be able to, though. Okay, so Lim, let's see if I can get you signed up here, buddy. Come on, David. This is a pain in the ass, man. This feels like the most rushed episode ever, just because that draft really didn't take that long. Lim is accepted. Now let's get Irabu. He'll take a good chunk of the money here. There you go. Kenny Irabu already signs too. All right, so we have everybody signed up. The other 3 guys, obviously, I can't sign because they are not my prospects. Because they are not Asian. Because they be friggin' from, like, South America or something. Oh, man, Hayashi's been injured with an abdominal strain. At least it's only for a few days, because he's one of our top prospects in the AA rotation right now. Yu Chang has broken his forearm. Damn. Well, at least he's not a prospect, so it doesn't matter too much on him, but damn. Auto-fix our lineups here if we can. So we need to get what type of position in here? First base. So we'll get De Jesus in. And we'll also move our prospects higher up in the list, because they should be. So we'll get De Jesus in again. So Sato will be the leadoff man. Chu will be number 2. That's all good and ready to go. So we should be able to now simulate. How many days do we have left to sign these guys? Technically, is it? I think it's the last day now, right? Yeah, okay. So soon we should be able to take a look at how good our prospects are, which is exciting, but also it's a mid-class, so it doesn't matter too much. Let me make sure Hayashi's back in AA. Which he is, and he's still pitching great, which is nice. All right. So let's see how bad this draft class was for us. Did we make the right selection with Kenny Irabu? Probably, but there was not really much else. So, did we make a good pick with Kenny Irabu? What the hell? Are you kidding me? He's a C potential as well? Wow, okay. I thought he was going to be at least a B potential, but he's a C potential. 64 is great at 18, but C potential is way lower than expected. I mean, he should be able to outgrow that into a B potential, at least, maybe even an A potential, but that is not exactly what I was expecting. I was expecting, like, low-end B talent, maybe even closer to an A potential, like an 88 potential, but a C potential? Yeah, that's an interesting pick. I mean, obviously he wouldn't normally go first overall, but at least I like the starting overall. And he's a big guy. He's got 4 different pitches. He's going to be decent and useful as like a number 5 pitcher, maybe even like a bullpen kind of guy too. Who knows? But yeah, this draft class definitely didn't have its good players for sure, because I don't think we're going to have a single B potential player on this team, at least. Our next selection, David Lim, same type of boat, lower overall, obviously, though. C potential, 59 at 18. He's got really good strikeouts per 9, which is nice as a reliever. Also some solid stamina. He's definitely going to be useful for this team, but once again, it kind of sucks that he's not a B potential type of guy, but we kind of figured he'd be more of a C potential. Yeah, I don't think we're going to have any B or A potentials in this draft, which is not great. Hopefully next year's draft is much better than this. But also has good velocity, good braking on his ball. Okay. Yeah, he's going to be useful, kind of like Sato and whatnot, I think. Our next selection, Tom Ann. Same type of boat, but also a couple years older, obviously. 58 at 20, C potential. He's got solid hits per 9. And also home runs per 9 is actually really good. Walks per 9 is also decent. His Ks per 9 is pretty low. Yeah, he'll be useful, I think, but obviously a little bit of a low overall, but at least a C potential. It's not a D potential guy, so I'll take it. He also has 4 different pitches as well, so not terrible on that front either. And then our last selection was Jeff Ishii, who is pretty mid. He's a D potential, 56 at 22, so no potential, low-ish overall, and he's already 22. It does have solid contact versus lefties, but I don't really know if he's going to become much in terms of the MLB in the future. Does also have decent actually blocking and reaction. So, oh, he is a catcher. I was going to say, why does he have a good blocking rating? But he actually could be somewhat of a solid defensive catcher, even with that potential, I think. Because he's got the arm, the fielding, the reaction, the blocking. So he's a pure-on defensive catcher, I think. His accuracy is not the best, but obviously that could be worked on. All in all, I would say, considering we didn't really have much players to select, I'd say we did okay, considering most of these guys have at least 71 potential plus. Obviously, we'll never know about these guys that the computer drafted us, but if you guys want to remember these names, these are the guys that we could not sign because they are not Asian. So it'll be interesting to see where those guys go in the future and if they're actually develop into something decent. So let's take a look at what the rest of the league got, if there was anything intriguing in this draft class that we could have drafted if we weren't just doing Asians only. Mariners, Charlie Elam's okay, but they had a little bit of a mid-draft, it looks like, as well. Texas, kind of a mid-draft, too. Looks like most of these teams actually have mid-drafts. Oh, never mind here. Julio Mendoza, a 99 potential, 65 at 21, right fielder. That's a fantastic pick for the Braves. Obviously a little bit low for a 21-year-old, but not super low. But having 99 potential, this guy's going to be insane. That's definitely the best player in this draft class, probably. Unless another team has another 99 potential. Malcolm Carr is pretty solid. TJ Ramirez is also really solid. And then Jeffrey Smith is a great steal as a first baseman way late in the draft. So the Marlins had a really good draft. The Mets also had a pretty solid draft to drafting Hollis Hemphill, who's pretty good, 96 potential, and Doug Thorman, who's got 87 potential as an 18-year-old third baseman. Nice. Yeah, some of these teams actually found some good players. The Phillies, by consideration of the other teams, not super good. The Nationals, Richie Chasen, is 73 at 18 as a shortstop, is really good. 87 potential is good too, so not too bad for Washington. The Cubs, Ricky Broadway was solid. Some other solid picks like Lewis Ray and Joey Fransky. The Reds, Lewis Haley is pretty good. Yeah, actually really good. 68 at 18, 92 potential. The Brewers, George Franco, 71 at 21, 94 potential. That's a good steal there. The Pirates also got some good players. Jim Singleton at shortstop, who's pretty solid. Alfredo Hernandez, who's also pretty solid. And Alvin McHugh, who's also pretty solid. All at shortstop. The Cardinals, Steve Lopez is pretty good. The Diamondbacks, Lamont Lorenz. is pretty good. Oh my goodness, a 99 potential that late. Is he good? 55 at 22 is pretty low, but Stan J having 99 potential and being drafted that late, that's a great steal for the Diamondbacks, even if he is a low overall at 22. So there were some good outfielders in this draft. The Rockies, nothing super good. I mean, Yoder's a high overall at 21, so that's not bad. The Diamondbacks, the Dodgers, Peter Nunez, solid. Diego Neto is solid as well. And then the Padres, their first selection was pretty damn bad, Russ Teague. Then they didn't sign two guys. Harvey Bird is solid. Then we have the Giants. Gerald Fordyce was the third overall selection in this year's draft. So that's a bit of a weird one there. Tony Davila, pretty solid. The Orioles got two decent players there, like Jose Ramirez, who's 18 years old, 88 potential, and Lucius McGraw, 48 at 18, 86 potential. All right. The Red Sox had three really good picks to start the draft. James Neff. They also got Roy Scher and an Emerson Gelman. All right. Ray Flores is also decent. So pretty good draft for the Red Sox. The Yankees, Avalos is good. Then they made a bad pick, and then they also made another solid selection with Steven Kurtz. And then the Tampa Bay Rays probably had one of the worst drafts out of the bunch. Johnny Little's a high overall at least, and then also Tate Ratburn's actually decent too. Okay. So some solid overalls, but low potentials for these guys. Then the Blue Jays had James Richter, 67 at 18, 84 potential. Larry Brady, 51 at 18, 83 potential. Not bad. Some okay players there. The White Sox, Omar Vargas is really solid. 61 at 18, 89 potential. He was the guy that went after our first pick. So he's the second overall selection. And then Ray Hernandez is also pretty good. Or not Hernandez, Henderson. I got him because Oscar Hernandez right above him. Henderson is pretty solid too. And then the Guardians, Norman Gray is pretty good. So that's a good steal there. The Tigers, Ronnie Kind is kind of good. Francisco Rodriguez is really good. And then also a very good steal. That's probably one of the best steals I've seen. Donald Graves, 18 years old, 58 overall, 98 potential. Really good pickup there for Detroit late. So there were some good late round steals. Unfortunately, no Asians for us to take. And then the Royals, D'Angelo Callars is really solid. And then we also have the Twins. Gutierrez is solid. Their last three picks were not so solid. And then the Astros, Walter McCoy, 87 potential, pretty solid. Alec Burrows is also pretty decent. And then you finally have the Angels, which a few of their picks were okay, but nothing super crazy. And then Omar Guzman's pretty good, and Pedro Portillo. Portillo? Yeah, Portillo. So there we go. I'd say we had pretty much one of the worst drafts, obviously, because we didn't have a lot to draft, but I'd say we did okay, all things considered. But there were some teams that got some really good steals for sure in this class. All right, the final few things we got to do to wrap up this episode is take a look at some player stats and see how everybody's doing at this stage. So Parker Iramer is now got a 5.23 ERA and a 1.54 WHIP, so I think he's getting worse, but he does have an 87 overall now. 21 games started, 11 quality starts. His ERA, or his FIP, is actually better than last year, so I think he's still improving just slightly. ERA-wise, not so much, but he's the only one that's starting in terms of pitchers that we care about, really. Walter Cho, who was called up to help us out with being a relief pitcher, has not been very good. He's not been very good so far. His ERA is high, his WHIP is high. His FIP is kind of average for this team. But yeah, he's definitely struggling. He is growing, which is good, though. Leonard Sato. Let's see how your stats so far. Let's see. Worse in the ERA and the WHIP. WAR is almost the same. FIP is tiny bit better. Not bad. Tom Koo, who is apparently 1-0 this season, has worse ERA, better WHIP this season, and he has worse FIP, but he's still been okay. So that's it for major leagues. In terms of Double A, Kazuhito Hayashi's still playing pretty good. 3.8 ERA. And then from the bullpen, you got Nakamura on a 4.4. Tommy Wong on a 2.88 is really good, so shout out to Tommy Wong. Wanyan Cheng at 3.88 has been good. Yamashita's kind of struggling a bit. Yamamoto as well, looks like. And then Austin Choi has been okay. AAA, Walter, since getting sent down, has been actually pretty decent. So Walter is finding himself so far, it looks like, this season. 5 games started now in AAA, and he's got 2 quality starts. Yeah, he's been decent. I don't think he'll get called up again this season, but at least it'll give him some confidence for next season. Stan Nguyen's still playing really good. David Na's still kind of a bit eh. Same with Matsui and also Vincent Tan. Yamamoto has been good. Yamada's been kind of a mixed bag. And then Philip Chung has been solid. But he has gotten worse in this episode, I think. In terms of batting, I'm curious on this. Sato is still batting at 298 now. His batting average has gone up even. So Kevin Sato having a really good batting average season, which is great. Brian Chu's out of 212 now, but apparently he's been hot as of late. Takashi, 233. He's got 37 RBIs, which is nice. Shina, 234. Those other guys don't matter too much, but yeah, Sato's having a pretty good rookie year. I'll double check to see if he's up there for rookie year right now, but in terms of Double A, Yang is still on a 300, which is fantastic. Yabu's on a 274. Seems like the batters are doing good in Double A. Taguchi at 253, Nomo at 246, Yokoyama at 257. And then these other guys don't matter too much, but Philip Nishi's still got a 207, so he's been kind of struggling a bit. Choi at 222, and Chung at 218. Obviously, I should move the created guy or the drafted guys above Samuel Munoz for the time being. And then AAA wise, what do we got here? Theodore Lee on a 275. Love to see it. Love to see it. He's been good. So shout out to Theodore Lee. His WAR is a little bit negative, but that's okay. Yamazaki on a 262. Tom Lee on a 251. He's got 25 home runs, 65 RBIs. There's a good chance he could be in the majors very, very soon. He's got an 851 OPS, so. Stanley Oka's got a 232. Sasaki at 216. CO at 227. All right. Not too bad. So there's that. I do want to take a look at the rookie stuff here quickly. See who is up there for potentially rookie of the year. If we actually have a chance to win a rookie of the year or not. Because we never won an award yet this series. Hideki Takahashi is still up there for rookie of the year. But unfortunately, it looks like rookie of the year is going to go to one of these Texas guys. Arden Chavez or Grant Levine. But yeah, we've never won like an award like a rookie of the year so far. So hopefully we do that at some stage, because that would be nice. But there is that. And that's going to do it, guys, for this episode of our Tokyo Tropic Turtles Draft to Glory franchise mode. So in next episode, we will get the rest of Year 7 simulated. And hopefully in the offseason, we find out that we're drafting first overall again. And hopefully it's actually a draft class that actually will make an impact to this team. Because this year's draft class was not very good. We didn't have a lot of selections in it. And also we weren't able to get the best players possible. So I'm hoping that we eventually get some luck on our side, because or else this is going to be very tough to take this team from where it was to being a championship caliber team. So anything down below, and I'll see you guys next time.